What's up, everyone? I'm Jacob, here with my first crack at Series 13 on this channel. I had built a couple of different versions of this team in testing over the last month, and I think this is probably the strongest build that I've come with. The whole point of the team is to try to get Celebi to do something. And, as you can see in the video today, you can check the timestamps below, Celebi does stuff, which is super, super great. Exactly what I wanted to do. It's super defensive. We are, enough bulk that we can live Astro Barrages from Calyrex without proccing the Focus Sash. Most Behemoth Blades from Zacian we're going to survive without the Focus Sash. But just to make sure, if we're running into an opposing Volcanion, if we're running into a Dynamax Yveltal or Calyrex, the Focus Sash is really there as a little bit of extra support, just to be on the safe side. Protects us from crits too in the end games, things like that. I originally had Protect and Energy Ball in this set over the Helping Hand Leaf Storm. I realized I just never clicked Protect, and I chose Leaf Storm over Energy Ball because 2 Leaf Storms does more damage on average than 2 Energy Balls anyway. So I think that's just the stronger move, and I'm really never going to click and attack more than twice with Celebi. I think twice is even a little bit of a stretch, but between Helping Hand and Pollen Puff, it can stay on the field for a while. Even if your opponent ignores it, it can kind of do a couple of different things. It can do the Indeedee or Whimsicott thing where you can use Trick Room and change the speeds. It can do the Comfey thing where you just heal up your allies, and it can do a little bit of damage on its own because base 100 stats across the board isn't too bad. So I wanted to bring some Pokemon to be actually able to use the Pollen Puff, so I think a Weakness Policy Dialga is a super good partner for that. Just another Pokemon that thrives under Trick Room. Volcanion as well in that Trick Room mode does super well. The Groudon's also really slow. It is 1 point faster than our Dialga, but it is still very slow. So another Trick Room Mon potentially there that I can Pollen Puff up. Originally that was a bulk up leftovers Groudon that I was like, I'll just create Tank Groudon. Just bulldoze everything in Series 13. But there are just so many things that hit it super effectively. Intimidates and things like that can also kind of stick you down a little bit. And especially on the special side, this team really doesn't fear Kyogre that much. We've got our own Scarf Kyogre that can just do good damage into it. Kyogre really struggles to deal damage into Dialga and AV Yveltal anyway. Celebi is going to live an Ice Beam from 75, I think maybe even 65%. It doesn't really take that much. It's super specially bulky. And of course Volcanion, Water Absorb. Kyogre can't really touch it without a Thunder. And if we can get the Sun up, that just really hampers what that Kyogre can do into our Volk. So the team really centers around the 2 Mythicals. And, today you see both the Mythicals put in a ton of work. So I think it's really, really fun. Let me know what you think about the team in the comment section below. Of course, while you're down there, leave a like, subscribe if you like what I'm doing here in the channel. I've noticed a ton of new views on that Little Root Lessons video that I posted for week 2. Super thankful for that. I think it's probably almost 2, if not already 300 views right now, which is insane to me. But, super fun. Super cool seeing that. I did not play last week, as you probably could have guessed, for the Little Root Lessons Team Draft League. We've got 14 players and only 9 play each week, so we got to rotate in and out. But have another one of those games coming up in the last week of Series 12, a little bit later on this week. So super excited for that as well. And lastly, answer the question of the day while you're down, looking through the description and things like that. Question of the day today: what mythical Pokemon do you think is the most underrated starting out here in Series 13? Celebi, I mostly picked because it's just really cute. It's the shiny gift Celebi that you got from the Zarude movie a few months ago. So, I just think shiny Celebi is so cute. Had to use it. I think it is a little underrated just because most people think that it's complete dog water and it has no place in competitive play right now. Which, reasonably fair. The typing's pretty bad. And you don't really have much that lets you stand out. Base 100 attack is solid, but it's just not anything special whenever you're running around with other mythicals and restricted legendaries and things like that. But Volcanion, as you're going to see in the video today, Volcanion does some crazy stuff. I think Volcanion is super, super strong, super underrated right now. So I'll let you get into that. Stop rambling here at the beginning of the video, and let's get into it. Alright, first game of the day, and had a little bit of technical difficulties, that's why I missed the first like 30 seconds of the timer, but this is the team that Cybertron featured right at the beginning of Series 13. I feel pretty comfortable going into this. The problem is the Amoonguss. Ran into this a few times on the ladder while testing, and Yveltal Volcanion was actually a pretty solid lead because it does put on a lot of pressure onto the Amoonguss immediately. The Amoonguss is not Sash, so I can always have Groudon as a switch-in. And then, for the last, I mean, Kyogre's just really strong. Dialga has the, Trick Room reversal option, as well as Max Quakes to keep Magearna. Takes his pre-wall from Zacian too. I don't think I want to double up on Weather on this one. Celebi is always intriguing, but I think I'm going to go Dialga. The question, I'm trying to remember, because I know it's 20 speed investment on the Kyogre, because I looked at the pace too. I was like, because I've seen this team a lot on the Showdown ladder, as you'd expect. But as it's Victini Yveltal, that's fine. I think they were max speed Yveltal. So yeah, so they're gonna go first. We'll see. The Victini's a little spooky, honestly. With that Choice Scarf. What's it called? The Choice Scarf Final Gambit. Yeah, man, this series is just nuts. We're just gonna Snarl, and we're going to... I like a Protect immediately with Volcanion, actually. I don't want to max right away. Yveltal will take a Final Gambit because it has ridiculous base HP. And then Groudon Dialga in the back is like an endgame, could be really, really strong for us. So I think I'm just going to Protect here, try to... I want to scout what the Victini wants to do. Because I know it's Scarf, I know it's... it is V-Create, but it's also Final Gambit, so yeah, they're going to do that right into the Volcanion slot. Makes a lot of sense. They're probably going to... They're going to Tailwind. Okay. So, I mean, on the bright side here, Snarl's going to do not insignificant damage, yeah, to Victini. And we're going to drop their Yveltal's special attack. They were Focus Sash on the Yveltal on this team. I think it was just max for the spread. So, I like just another Snarl. I mean, their team is pretty heavily reliant on special attackers outside of the Zacian. And if I can get Dialga in and click Trick Room at any point, I feel like I'm in a wonderful spot. So, I think now might be the time to max Volcanion, because a Victini Final Gambit's still going to do a decent chunk if I don't max. So I'm just going to max guys with the Yveltal. I know Victini is locked into, what's it called? Final Gambit, as always. But the Kyogre comes out, so it's only going to make my Max Geyser stronger. Okay. Only going to make the Max Geyser stronger. As... I want to see how much damage this does. I would think it probably gets the KO. And we're going to drop the Kyogre's special attack, which is huge. Again, the Assault Vest on Yveltal is very, very nice. This team really does not fear Kyogre that much, which you'll love to see, because that Pokemon's going to be everywhere. As they just Oblivion Wing probably into my own Yveltal to get their Focus Sash back, which makes sense, but as long as they hit a Snarl, I would think Yveltal probably goes down this turn. So we're going to Snarl, get that damage right back, lower the Kyogre's damage output, which is huge. Volcanion does not care about Kyogre at all. And see what this Max Geyser wants to do. I would expect this to KO. Yeah, perfect. Okay. I was like, we're super strong. We got the Max, we've got the Rain boosted. That Yveltal doesn't have any bulk. So now they do have Victini again. I cannot remember the last couple of moves. I think they might have Bolt Strike on it, which would be a little bit of a bummer. I do like Sucker Punch into Victini. I think that's a funny play. I don't think Sucker Punch is going to KO, though, is the problem. It might. We are timid, but, you know, we don't have the spread damage reduction, so the base power is, like, double. I am going to Sucker Punch the Victini. I think that has a chance to KO and then just Max Quake this Kyogre. Because they don't have any other flying types, and I want to get my special defense boosted as much as possible. Plus, they're going to Dynamax here, and likely... What, I think this Kyogre has Thunder. I think they're going to Max Lightning into my Volcanion, which makes sense. But, maxing the Kyogre here, Dialga in the back is not super worried about the Kyogre. The Groudon is super nice. Let's see how much this Sucker Punch does, because it's pretty much, yeah, perfect. I was like, it's like double the base power, effectively, from that Snarl, but our attack stats lower. But that's beautiful. And the Max Lightning comes out into a Yveltal, which we're going to take with the Assault Vest, their special attack drop. Love it. We're also going to get boosted on the special defense side. So, we probably don't take another one because they got Electric Terrain up. But that means that the Kyogre is crazy, crazy AV, insanely Assault Vest. Yeah. Monstrously Assault Vest on that Kyogre. That's that did nothing. But it's gonna be Zacian. It's gonna be Zacian. How many more turns of Tailwind? Because I know... I'm trying to think. I think the Kyogre hits 113 speed stat, so I think it's a speed tie with my Groudon, and it's 1 point faster than my Dialga. I think that's where it's at. I do not have Max Dynamax candy on these guys. That could be an issue. I'm gonna change that between battles. But I am going to foul play the Zacian and Max Quake that slot. Just double into Zacian. I could have Sucker Punched, but they're going to cancel. Okay, so not having all the Dynamax candies on my Pokemon did not come into play there. Good thing I noticed that. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad on my part for just not checking that part of it. As I do want to check, because I know this team, yeah, it's Goggles, Scarf, AV, and it is 113 stats, so it's a speed tie with my Groudon. Cool. I am going to add some more Dynamax candies onto my restricteds, and be right back for game 2. That's a big ol' yikes. Alright, now with fully Dynamax candied restricted Pokemon, as I'm just going to show it off here. I am probably going to do a quick like montage in between that just so you can see, but yeah. So that's a big mistake on my end. Thank goodness it did not cost me a game, and we are up against a team with a Talonflame, a Zarude, and a Zeraora. Groudon looks phenomenal here. I think Groudon looks really good. The Zarude is going to be a little bit of a pain to take care of, but Volcanion plus Groudon does a really good job into that, I think. I would love to go like Dialga Celebi and just set up Trick Room and sweep, because their team is pretty quick overall. I think I can get that done too. The only issue would be like a Taunt Talonflame if they lead that. Or if they double into Celebi. But if they do that, well, Dialga's going to get some big damage off. Dialga could also set up Trick Room. I just want to bring Celebi. I just really want to bring Celebi. I think Kyogre is objectively the better lead. Yveltal is also really good here, but they might not feel... Yveltal is really good for the Calyrex, but they might not feel comfortable bringing the Calyrex because they see the Yveltal. So that's what I'm going to hope for. I am anticipating something along the lines of the like support-ish Zeraora that we've seen early-ish on either like Assault Vest or Focus Sash. Got like Electro Web, Fake Out, as they do lead Fake Out. They do lead the Zarude, or the Zeraora and the Zarude. But hey, I mean, it's just like in the movies. You know, you got the shiny Celebi, you got the Zarude Dada, with the little scarf on, and see, that's how we planned it. Hope and we actually linked up before this. We knew what each other were gonna lead. Made sure we got the slots right too. I think I want to switch Celebi out. I want to go into Volcanion and just click Trick Room with Dialga. I think if anything they would want to fake out the Celebi, because I feel like that's just how people's brains work. Is, you know, you don't know what that Pokemon's going to do, just fake it out. Plus Dialga is a much more likely Dynamax candidate here. So let's just get the Trick Room up. Zarude, I would think either Dynamaxes. I think he gets close combat, which would actually be a little bit of a bummer, but I don't think they would be able to one-shot Dialga, as they fake out the Dialga, and Darkest Lariat into the Volcanion. Okay, so they are... I mean, it's still not the end of the world here. I just Protect and click Trick Room. Yeah, because I think both of these Pokemon do get close combat, but I don't think either one of them is going to be able to knock out Dialga in one hit. And the Volcanion is super tempting for them to Plasma Fists into. So we'll just Protect there. They're going to Electro Web, which is only going to help me. Slowing down my Dialga. Making sure that even if it was like a speed tie with their Groudon, we're going to Underspeed and Trick Room now. And a Rock Tomb comes out into Volcanion. So yeah, Trick Room is huge here. Trick Room is great. We are going to... What are we going to do now? I want to just knock out the Zeraora. I think that's definitely the bigger threat here. Volcanion Dynamax feels pretty good, but it already has such low HP. The Zarude can still do some decent damage into it. And I think Dialga is just going to be better here, so I really like just a Heat Wave and a Max Quake into the Zera. This is relying on me hitting Heat Wave if they are a Focus Sash on the Zeraora, but they do just switch out. They switch out, they go into Groudon, which is fine by me, because that's just going to make my Heat Wave stronger. The Zarude... I haven't worked with the Dada Zarude enough to know if it can still be in like the Dada form if it's not holding a Choice Scarf. I feel like it probably can, but I'm not 100%. We also know that they're not Choice Scarf because they clicked 2 different moves. So they also were slower than Zeraora. Either way, so they could be AV. As Dialga is... Oh, because we got... Yeah, because we got Electro Web. I was like, why are we slower than Volcanion? That's fine. We're still going to do some good damage here to both of these Pokemon with a Heat Wave. So yeah, I feel very good about Volcanion. Just, yeah, big damage. Love that. They are going to Rock Tomb, so Volcanion is going to be slower now. Volcanion is going to be slower, which means I don't want to click Heat Wave. I wanted to Earth Power into Groudon and Steel Spike these Zarude so that I still get the defense boost. Because if I get both KOs with a Heat Wave, then Dialga's move's going to fail and I just waste a turn of my max. Either way, I'm using a turn of my Dynamax to take out a Pokemon with like 10% of its HP left, but I at least get the defense boost. So if they are... close combat Zeraora, or if they have Zacian in the back, boosting up that defense. They're going to withdraw Groudon. They're going to go back into the Zeraora. So, we're going to see this Earth Power come out into that slot. Love that. It is Air Balloon, which I missed initially. It is Air Balloon. And Steel Spike is going to go out, though. So, we do still get the defense boost. This just means another Heat Wave plus, most moves will take out the Zeraora unless they do fake at the Volcanion, which is honestly fine. Either way, if they go Groudon, I'm just going to Steel Spike that slot. Because that's a threat. that's a big old threat. What, we got 2 turns? Yeah, 2 turns left of Trick Room. Both of our Pokemon on the field are at -1. Volcanion's super strong, man. Volcanion's super strong. So we're going to Heat Wave again. We're going to Steel Spike into the Groudon. Groudon could, like, max Guard, but that only stalls out 1 more turn of Trick Room. So we're going to take the KO on that Pokemon this turn, unless they want to waste a turn of their max and get KO'd next turn anyway. The Zeraora, because it's Air Balloon, I don't know how well it takes Heat Wave. Is they're going to Protect Groudon. That shouldn't save him. We should still be able to get this KO through the Protect. And just a Fake Out, yeah. So that doesn't accomplish too much, unless they were really banking on me targeting down the Zeraora with my Dialga, but even then, both of my Pokemon on the field are going to outspeed while we're under Trick Room. So I think it's fine. And what is the last going to be? The problem is that even with all these defense boosts, if it's Zacian in the back, our Dialga's not going to love that. Because they can just Sacred Sword their way through our defense boosts. At this range, we should... Because we've only taken like that 1 Fake Out on Dialga at this point. Yeah. Plus an Electrobit. So yeah, so we're still going to live a Sacred Sword unless they're... unless they are more attack than normal, plus like an Adamant Nature. Zacian's going to Protect here. So we just Heat Wave, and we can... Heat Wave Earth Power will guarantee the KO on Zeraora. The problem is if our Heat Wave misses, that puts us really behind because Zeraora gets an attack this turn, so I'm going to Power Gem just to be on the safe side. Plus, I have the 4-2 advantage. Yes, it's the last turn of Trick Room, but Celebi still has its Focus Sash. Groudon on the back is going to be able to take an attack from either one of these guys. I just really need to get the Air Balloon off the Zeraora so that we can knock it out with an Earth Power or Precipice Blades later. They are going to Dynamax. Makes sense. That's their only option at this point, is to max that Pokemon, but we're still going to get good chip on it. All things considered, we're still going to do some good damage here. Zacian's forced to Protect here. They don't Protect, and we miss the Zacian. Oh, wow. We get the burn on Zeraora, though, so, we're still fine. But, man, that miss is rough. Behemoth Blade, this isn't going to KO Volcanion. It's definitely not going to KO Dialga with our 2 defense boosts. And what are they going to do? Like, Max Knuckle? It's a Max Darkness. So probably coming from Knockoff. Goes into Dialga, still does not that much. And yeah, they could... Them not Sacred Swording that turn implies to me that they do not have Sacred Sword. Which, could be a possibility. They could have Close Combat over CC. They could just not have a fighting move. They could be, Behemoth Blade, Play Rough, Protect Sub. I ran that set at Secaucus, so, not the most out of the ordinary thing, but we're just going to Heat Wave again with Volcanion, no reason not to, and if we can, we're going to get Trick Room up. Dialga's slower than both these Pokemon anyway, so if we have a chance to attack, we might as well just get our Trick Room, as they're going to Max Lightning into Volt. That's going to take us out. Even with the defense boost, crit probably didn't matter there. We're +2 defense. It is super effective, so that basically cancels each other out, and they're burned. So yeah, crit probably didn't matter. We're definitely going to take the Play Rough, so yeah, I definitely just think they don't have a fighting move. They could be Imprison, but Imprison without a fighting move feels weird. So I don't know. Either way, we get Trick Room up. Groudon wins the game, but Celebi is cuter. So we're going to go Celebi. Groudon wins the game, but Celebi's cuter. We have our Focus Sash. I just want to get her out on the field a little bit more. And let's just big Helping Hand and Earth Power this Zeraora. Maybe KOs. I think there's a decent chance. With Helping Hand, I think we probably get this KO from this range. Yeah, I mean, at this point, you know, I'm just playing because I want Celebi on the field. If we don't knock out both, we have Groudon. We do have to rely on some Precipice Blades hits. But, yeah, I think the Zacian is probably like an Imprisoned set. Okay, sorry, Helping Hand goes before Protect. I was like, I was just trying to run through the possibilities in my mind. But yeah, Helping Hand Earth Power comes through huge. I probably mentioned in the open, but I really, you know, really took a long time to come to the conclusion in my mind whether I wanted to run Ally Switch or Helping Hand. And I think I'm just going to get more utility out of Helping Hand in the long run. You know, the Ally Switch is really fun. And this is a change I made like right before I started recording too. I haven't even tested the Helping Hand version of Celebi yet. Because I had Protect on there originally. But, I mean, Helping Hand Earth Power, that's super bulky Zacian to live that. Is I going to play Earth again? This probably doesn't KO. We are going to... How many turns are left of Trick Room? 2 turns left of Trick Room. I want to get the last KO with Celebi. Our Dialga is going to be slower because we're at -1. They're going to Protect, which makes sense. But I want to get the last KO with Celebi. Even if we don't KO this turn, we next turn still have 2 Pokemon on the field. We either have 2 Pokemon on the field that can click Trick Room, or we have Groudon plus Celebi, who still has a Focus Sash. So this isn't a throw for content. This is just content. As they're going to go for the double, they don't get it. Power Gem comes out. This shouldn't knock out Zacian, but it should put it in range for Leaf Storm, is what I'm hoping. Let's go! Celebi's the GOAT. Celebi, honestly, best Pokemon in the game. I mean, you saw that. It's just 1v1 Zacian. So, I don't think you can really deny that Celebi is at least, like, top 5 right now. You know, honestly, every single team moving forward, when you're thinking about that Grass-type Pokemon slot, yeah, there's Whimsicott, that is just objectively one of the best Pokemon in the game. Rillaboom, same thing there. But I do think you gotta consider the Celebi for the Grass-type Pokemon on your teams. So, yeah, I mean, you see it right there. Endgame was a little bit longer than we'd like it to, so we're just gonna get quickly onto the Game 3. Alright, last one of the day, and it looks like we're running into a team with a similar thought process. They definitely are a lot more indexed on Sun. As you can see, the Charizard there. The Volcanion is going to be their Kyogre answer for sure, but outside of that, they don't have too much. I did have Solar Beam on Volcanion originally, which I thought was a lot of fun against like opposing Kyogres, and against other Volcanions that don't have a Shuka Berry, or against other Volcanions that do have a Shuka Berry, Solar Power or Solar Beam, man. Solar Beam is optimal, because 2 Solar Beams does more than 2 Earth Powers if they're holding a Shuka. So I definitely want to bring Volk. I definitely want to bring Kyogre as well. Lunala probably has Wide Guard, and some Trick Room shenanigans. I think Dialga, Yveltal, Kyogre, and Volcanion is pretty solid here. Kyogre in the back just to try to clean up late game. Dialga, because I think there's a good chance that we get our weakness policy activated this one. Yeah. I think that's pretty solid. Groudon is a good consideration here, because if they set up Trick Room for me, then I really, really threaten their Zacian, the Volcanion. Volcanion's going to be slower, but I threaten the Zacian, I threaten the Charizard, I threaten, you know, a ton of stuff. But they're going to go Charizard Zacian, as I'm going to have Dialga Yveltal. Dialga, I think, lives a max or G-Max Wildfire. I think both of these Pokemon live a G-Max Wildfire in the sun. Definitely a G-Max Wildfire without the sun up. What I'm thinking is the Zacian would be the one to switch out to Groudon, which means the Zacian's going to switch out first, so I can switch either of my two into Kyogre to set the rain. I like doing that. I think if I want to switch in Kyogre, I want to switch out Dialga. The other option here is just to go for a Power Gem immediately. But I think that's a little rash. I think I want to go Dialga out into Kyogre and Snarl. I think Foul Play the Zacian is better. As I'm going to withdraw Charizard into Groudon. Either way, we get the rain up. So that's huge. We are not going to get much use out of this Snarl. Yeah, the Foul Play into Zacian was a ton better because it hits the Zacian a lot harder. It catches the Groudon switch in. So that was definitely the move there, but I was just running out of time. Had to click something quickly and didn't think through entirely. Behemoth Blade is not going to knock out Yveltal, but it's going to do some good damage, for sure. But that means that we now have some chip on Zacian. And I think we have enough chip on Zacian where Sucker Punch plus Water Spout will KO. So that's what we're going to go for. Is we're going to Sucker Punch the Zacian and Water Spout. Water Spout, because we're Scarf Ogre, we're at full HP, we're in the rain. This is exactly what I wanted to catch the Groudon switching in. Because nothing in the back wants to take this Water Spout. Nothing wants to. As they're going to withdraw Groudon, they go into what? Like Lunala? Or Grimmsnarl in the back? Something? They go to Volcanion, which actually makes so much more sense. But Sucker Punch comes out. I think that's enough chip. To get the Zacian into Water Spout range. Depends on how bulky they are, but we do get the KO. Perfect. We are back in this. Okay. So, we are now, or not even back in this. We're making big plays. So Groudon comes out now. I have a really free Snarl here into the Volcanion. Or if that wants to switch out a Charizard. Either one. The Yveltal, I mean, was mostly there for, like, Lunala. It really did its job in helping secure the knockout of the Zacian. I want to go into... I think I want to go Dialga. Because if they do Precipice Blades, I'm in a little bit of a situation. So I am going to go Dialga. And I'm just going to Snarl here. Because our Yveltal is going to be the fastest thing in the field. I want to knock the Volcanion's special attack down, if I can. The other problem here with not running much speed on Dialga is there's a decent chance their Groudon's faster. Which is good because it lets us get our weakness policy, but it's bad if we take pretty much any damage on this turn. As they're going to max Groudon. That actually makes sense, but it means that I'm going to win the Weather War. Yeah, the max Groudon makes a ton of sense because they know this, that I have Snarl. That does a lot into Volcanion. It doesn't even seem like it's a crit, wow. But they know that I have Snarl, they know that Volcanion's going to be at -1 immediately. They are going to max Quake into my Dialga. So that's unfortunate. But if they KO both this turn, I'm actually in a really good position. Because Kyogre can just click Water Spout forever. If they miss the Heat Wave, I would have wanted that to hit. I definitely would have wanted that to hit. So I go Volcanion here. I can get a little bit more damage. You know, I can, Volcanion, we're going to max guard because I don't want to, one, reveal my Sugar Berry, and 2, I don't want them to really do any damage to Volk this turn. Because that's the win con, is once we get Volcanion up with the Rain, I think we're pretty set. I'm going to foul play the Groudon. Because they have that special defense boost. We're going to get some decent damage here. And I do run the risk, if I lower their special attack on Volcanion anymore, we are, we do have quite a bit of bulk on Yveltal. So I'm thinking there's a chance that depending on how much investment they've got into their special attack in the Volcanion, that if we knock them down to -2, even in the sun, I think there's a chance that we'd live a Heat Wave. So I want to make sure that I want them to KO Yveltal this turn. As we just knock the Groudon into Citrus range, that's fine. We net gain, we still do some damage. As the Max Quake comes out, makes sense. We deny them another special attack boost too. As that Heat Wave will connect into Yveltal, and it does get the KO. That's what we wanted. That is perfect, because their Life Orb too. Okay. Yeah. So that's great, because now I can just bring out Kyogre and just click Water Spout forever. Bring out Kyogre, click Water Spout. This is where the Volcanion's EVs come into play a lot, because I accidentally hyper-trained this Volcanion speed stat, which we did have an IV of 13 on Volcanion. I accidentally hyper-trained it, and now we are max speed, but still with a quiet nature. So if they're min speed, we're going to be faster, but if they're not a minus speed nature, then we're in a little bit, then their Volcanion is going to move first. We are going to give them Water Absorb, which is not ideal, but Volcanion really doesn't have many good moves to hit Kyogre anyway. The crit on Groudon didn't matter. We saw that they were not AV. They were +1, yes, but we're in the rain. Max HP Water Spout. We're doing fine. They're going to Earth Power. It goes into Volcanion, though. So that means that we're going to get our special defense boost here, too, as they're not going to do much of anything. They're also going to drop their health just a little bit lower from that Life Orb recoil. And Max Quake probably doesn't KO, but it does a lot. Or it just does KO. Or it just does. So, I mean, this just turned into Volcanion Showcase, honestly. And I'm not mad about it. Volcanion's super, super good. I think, when Series 13 was originally announced, I think a lot of people kind of immediately thought of Volcanion because they're like, oh, Groudon and Kyogre are probably the 2 best restricted Pokemon not named Zacian. So, we obviously, Volcanion can check Kyogre, it can fully counter Kyogre. Not just check it. But, you can fully counter Kyogre. You are pretty solid into opposing Groudons. If you have either Speed Control or just a Shuka Berry like we've got on here. You can take advantage of both weathers offensively. It's just super, super strong. And a solid defensive profile with a really, interesting typing. But then I think it just fell off a ton for whatever reason. I think a lot of people just weren't talking about it as much. It's, now it's all about that Choice Scarf, Victini with his final Gambits. Now it's about, Magearna just setting up and sweeping. I think Zeraora, rightfully so too, but Zeraora has a ton of hype around it. So they are faster. They've got actually a decent bit of speed, so what, do they have Tailwind on their team? I don't think they did. But they have Scary Face, so you can Scary Face. If you Scary Face an opposing Calyrex or a Zacian, you're going to be faster with it than Volcanion, which is cool. Classic Grimmsnarl, the exact same set that we're running with Volcanion. Lunala, again, classic, as they're just max speed Lunala, which is really interesting. Max speed Modest. Solar Blade, because you're getting the sun up most of the time. And then Lum Charizard. Honestly, you know, whenever Worlds happen, everybody's, running the weakness policy Charizard. They're like, oh, like, it's the new wave, but I think a lot of people are kind of resistant to it as kind of a gimmick, but I think, like, weakness policy Charizard or Chardy, if you're not running one of those two, I think, you should probably reconsider what you want your Charizard to do, and how likely it is that it does do those things. But yeah, pretty much the exact same Groudon. Yeah, I mean, we're max HP and less attack. We're a lot more invested in special defense, but pretty much the exact same Groudon as us, which is funny. But yeah, I mean, 3-0 real quick to start off Series 13. You love to see it. Let's just get to the rental code one more time and call it a day. All right, and there you see it one more time. The rental code for the first team that I've built here in Series 13. I think it's pretty solid, all things considered. You don't have a way to proc your own weakness policy with Dialga, and we didn't get to see it activate here in this video, but I'm going to make another video with this team, and we're definitely going to get that weakness policy. It happens all the time. Opposing Groudons, even, like Alandris, Zacian with the Sacred Sword, you've got Earth Powers on opposing Volcanions, all kinds of stuff. We're going to get that weakness policy activated. I built a team as, something that Celebi could really do something with. I wanted to get this Pokemon to work. I think this is probably one of the best sets for this Pokemon, just super, super defensive. Leaf Storm can do pretty good damage even with no investment because Celebi just has good base stats, but it works really, really well as a support Pokemon. You got to see that in Game 2, hopefully a little bit more down the road. But yeah, just a couple of different modes, and kind of just turned into the Volcanion showcase with just the power of that Pokemon early in this series, the things that it can do on offense. But yeah, let me know what you think about the team in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe, helps me out a ton. And while you're down there leaving your comments about the team, answer today's question of the day, which is, which mythical Pokemon do you think is the most underrated at the beginning of Series 13? I think Volcanion after today's gotta be up there. It's super good. I know a lot of people have talked about it, and we ran into one on the ladder today as well, but, I think it just does so much more than most people really think about. I think it just has so much more potential too. I kind of want to experiment with like a weakness policy Volcanion, just sweeps through things. Choice Scarf is going to be, I think, another variant that could be really, really powerful. Although the base 70 speed stat is not the greatest in the world, but using it on a Tailwind team with speed control like that last opponent that we ran into, I think it's got a lot of potential there. So definitely one of my sleeper picks for the rest of Series 13 as we roll into Scarlet and Violet. But that's going to be everything for me today. Thank you again so much for watching through the video, and I'll see you next time.